Pleasant good afternoon to everyone listening. My name is Dr. Kevin Saran, and I represent the constituency of San Fernando West National Transmission Alliance. I'm a medical doctor for over 10 plus years. I would say I'm one of the people who were not very involved in politics over the last couple of years. I have seen politics, and just like many other young people in Trinidad and Tobago, they see politics as, a group of people who almost inevitably seek their own interests. And that deters a lot of young people from getting into politics. What made me get into politics really was the fact that situations with crime in Trinidad and Tobago was escalating out of hand. There were lack of opportunities for the young people in Trinidad and Tobago, and these things weren't getting sorted. And I pretty much sat on the sidelines waiting, hoping that, somebody would take up the mantle. And after seeing that there wasn't much happening, I realized that, it was that time to step in and to basically offer myself for service to the country. San Fernando West is something that has always been close to my heart. I actually worked in San Fernando for quite a period of time at the San Fernando General Hospital. In addition to that, I do most of my business in San Fernando. I go to gym in San Fernando. I'm no stranger to San Fernando.
How do you plan to challenge someone as formidable as Faris Al-Rawi?
And I think the template that he has used so far is pretty much the same template that most politicians who would have had office or held a position in governance would have done.
Mm-hmm.
They pave roads, they build stuff, they build structures, and that is something, to be honest, I think that is something that we need to take into consideration as people, young people who are voting. When you build a physical structure, and I'll draw this back into healthcare, for example, when you build, let's say, a hospital or a couple of hospitals, right? These things often require staff to maintain the hospitals and staff to run the hospitals. I'll give you an example. The Couva Children's Hospital is roughly newly built a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes almost about 800 people to run a hospital. They're looking at maybe about $20 million a year. These things add to the recurring expenses. And we have hospitals in Trinidad and Tobago that are underutilized and are not functioning properly. So they may get the superficial cosmetic appeal to people that, yes, they build in, they paving roads, they build infrastructure, but those things don't hold well because that doesn't filter down to the people of San Fernando West.
Mm.
In other words, there's still unemployment issues happening in San Fernando West. We have a lot of intellectual people there with degrees but can't get jobs. The situation with traffic is still there. There are a lot of issues that they are not addressing. They're simply just building stuff and getting their name on it because they think that is what people want to see.
Well,
but the young people, we are dealing with a new generation of people in politics. These people actually want to hear your ideas and the real policies about how you can improve the economy.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this.
That are dipping in their pocket.
Yeah, the paving didn't work in Tobago for the THA elections. That's obvious.
We are basically asking how do we plan to tackle that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to say that's one of the beauty of going up for the marginal constituencies. There's a delta fraction, meaning the change between what the person that would have won and the person that would have lost. And you will realize that they are not so consistent. The numbers vary and they fluctuate widely. For example, that San Fernando West constituency, the change would have been 2,000, 4,000, 2,000. So the numbers fluctuate. And that's the beauty about going up for a seat like that, because it means that those people are not what you would consider tribal voters. They have the ability to look at policies and weigh their options and what they get in for their money, in other words. And that gives us an advantage going into a seat like that, such that, we have the ability to put out policies that will capture their attention.
Mm.
So I think that favors us. I would like to say that, I'm a very young person. I think my voices and views resonate with a lot of young people, particularly in the region of San Fernando West. I'm no stranger to voicing my opinion, particularly for those issues that affect most of Trinidad and Tobago. And this is clearly outlined in a lot of my social media content that I put out. I express very strong views about the system, and the system definitely needs to change in Trinidad and Tobago. And there's a saying, if we continue to do the same thing over and over again, we should expect the same results.